This video deals with the layout of our new point of sale system. Click on point of sale, put in your security code, and now you're logged in. Every sale has to be logged in if you have security enabled for point of sale. That way you can tell what clerk does what sale. The layout of the new point of sale, you have your navigation keys across the top, including a link to your tickler. The tickler is covered in a separate video. You have your on-screen receipt. You have a data entry pad here, where in combination with your keyboard and these numeric keys here, you can search on things, which we'll cover in a minute. You have your point of sale shortcut buttons here. You have your POS function keys across the bottom. You have a link to your customer account information for whatever the active customer is. You have an information spot here that shows what the drawer ID and who the logged in clerk is. And we also have a menu over here for point of sale admin, which we'll cover in a little bit. Now, starting back here on the data entry pad, this is where you will do searching. Now, the search function is very powerful. It searches not only on customer lookup names, but also on inventory items to recall to the point of sale. Let me give you an example. You can look up a customer by their last name, F-O-R-D, hit the enter key. It'll list everybody who matches that. And here in this case, Ford Mark is there. There's an easier way to do it. If you know the customer's first name, you can do Ford Mark and hit the enter key. And there he is, hit enter one more time. And now that customer is the active customer with all their data here at the drop down. You can also look up the customer by their phone number. So let's put a phone number in, 315-427-2422, hit the enter key. There he is, enter one more time. And now there is the active customer once again. Other things you can do in the search field is you can look up inventory items. So let's say you want to look up all items that have the word box in the description. Just type BOX, hit enter, and now you get a drop-down list of anything that has the word box in the description. Other things you can do is, if you know the SKU number and any other information, let's say you want to look up any box that has at least one dimension at 16 inches, you can do BX16, hit enter, and now it'll list all boxes that have at least one dimension of 16 inches. So as you can see, that's a very powerful tool. Over here on the right, you have a shortcut pad with point of sale buttons. These point of sale buttons are programmable, of course, by you, the user. And what you're looking at here is a panel of 20 buttons. Behind this panel of 20 buttons is another panel with 20 buttons, and then another, and then another, and then another, and it goes back infinitely. You can literally layer your entire inventory at your fingertips here. Let me give you an example. On the top panel that's called main, this is always the topmost panel, we have a category called small boxes. I'll click on that and it takes me back to small boxes. I can hit go back, go to large boxes, go back and go to copy center, go back and go to fax service. So as you can see, you can departmentalize all of your shortcut buttons, and I might add that there is no button that's more than 2 clicks away or 2 push of the buttons away. This is optimized, of course, for a touchscreen monitor, but it works well with a mouse. If you have an empty button, you can go ahead and program it by hitting edit, and then you can go ahead and select a function, a group, or an individual item number, like a SKU number for a specific number. You can set a default quantity and you can also change the colors of the buttons and the caption on how the button reads. It's a very powerful tool. Nobody else has anything like this. At the top right, we have our point of sale admin button. You click on that and you get a flyout. The flyout has several choices on there. Inventory setup, which we'll cover in a separate video. Close drawer. This is when you want to close your drawer. Keep in mind that if you're in the point of sale, your only choice to get out is to close the drawer. Cash paid out, if you're paying window washers or carpet cleaners, cash out of the drawer. Point of sale reports. All reports are centralized and they're covered in a separate video. You can have a shortcut to the drop-off manager, covered under a separate video. Package valet for handling inbound packages, covered under a separate video. Gift cards, if you're integrated with KN and you use their gift card feature, you would go here. Recover previous shipments is used only when told by Shipwright to solve a specific tech support issue. Invoice notes, when you're doing a sale, you can tag a blind note that doesn't show up on the receipt to that invoice. On the bottom, we have common cash register functions. Hold invoice. This allows you to put a sale on hold and recall it at a later time. It is a true networking feature, so you can actually recall it on a different workstation if you need. The next feature is a print quote. You can do quotations for shipping and quotations for print jobs, sign jobs, and basically anything that you offer in your store. It'll print it out on a full sheet of paper with the customer's name at the top, and then you can retain it for however many days your policy warrants. Invoice history, you would look up previous invoices here merely by clicking on the button, taking you into the invoice history, and you have listing with the newest at the top going all the way down to the bottom. You can narrow down the amount of days that it shows, and you do this so that you don't have to search through a lot of data if you've been open for many years. You also have customer lookup covered under a separate invoice. We also have customer lookup that's covered under a separate video. These three keys: change price, apply discount, and change tax county. Those are password protected items. If your employee doesn't have permission to do that, then they can't. Change quantity, that's for selling multiple quantities. As an example, if you're going to sell copies, you would hit 300, change quantity, and then select the SKU number that you're going to be selling. And then finally, there's the cash out screen, and that's covered under a separate video.